So we are Fibra Design, and we believe that design is essentially a tool, a powerful tool that can create and can promote new materials, new process, new products, new service, new relationship. And that's what we think that can be design.
We look at design as a tool to manage this theoretical different universes, but they are really part of the same world we live in. And we face this towards sustainability. And I have a special concern about that. I have a 5-year-old, as almost all the designers around have some kids of their own. And it's difficult for us to talk about this in 15 or 20 minutes, since we live with this in our lives, daily basis. And so we chose a Brazilian story that can illustrate you the way we think design and how we think design can change perspectives of people and actually make the change. We have chosen the palm heart story. I don't know if all of you are familiar with the palm heart in Brazil. For long years we have been the biggest producer and consumer of palm heart. But that's brought us huge problems, because our production was mainly based on predatory extraction. And as you can see, this has taken to mainly the decimation of our Atlantic forest. Suddenly, some of the consumers, they noticed, all right, palm hearts are good, but the forests are ending, we cannot keep doing this. And then they decided they would not buy Brazilian palm heart anymore. Brazil continues to be bigger producer and consumer, but we have lost amazing share in the international market. Of course, this share of the market went up to other countries, mainly Costa Rica. Costa Rica have chosen, instead of Brazilians, typical palm trees. There are Jussara that we don't almost have it anymore. We are not allowed to cut it, to eat it, or nothing like that. Costa Rica has bet on the pupunha palm tree. And pupunha is a way different culture around. It's not extraction, actually, it's agriculture, and it's a huge industry, and agricultural industry, of course. And from the pupunha, and you can take it out several different parts of it for different uses. As you can see, you have the taller ones that are adult palm trees, and actually they are kept up to the adult age, so they can get fruits for human and animal feeding, and also the seeds that are going to supply this agro-industry to keep on producing palm trees, and you don't have to extract native ones anymore. But actually the hugest difference is that the palm heart itself doesn't come from these adult palm trees as they used to be in the natives. We take palm hearts from the young ones, and this makes bigger productivity, and you need less years of plantation, so you can get palm heart out of it, and it's a kind of a circle production that keeps on producing palm trees from the same bunch of palm trees that live around. As it is an agro-industry, you have residues involved, and that's mainly what happens in all the agro-industries. And since you have different products from it, you have different residues, of course. And you have this, the palm tree trunks that are cut sometimes when you have the two big palm trees and the seeds are weak and the fruits are too high, so you cannot reach anymore. So you have to cut this big palm tree so another one can take the place and produce better seeds. And from the production of the palm heart itself, you have another kind of residue that's lots and tons of fibers. Since you you only use the actually heart of the palm that is pretty small compared to the tree you have cut it. Some people look at it and say, wow, but now we have a huge problem. we have tons of residues, and this is getting bigger because Brazil keeps on planting pupunha so we can manage someday to get back this international market share. But we as designers, we look things in a different perspective, and we see this as an excellent opportunity to innovate.
Most of us here are designers, and as designers we know that one of the first steps for innovation is start with research. In Brazil, native Indians use pupunha since old ages, since we were discovered by the Portuguese. So they used to do bows, arrows, and other tools. It has great mechanical properties. It is real long-lasting. And we learned with the Indians that it could be used for high-end products for very good final results. And then with Claudio Ferreira, that's a designer that used to work with us, we use the low-tech process of doing bamboo plywood that Chinese use normally, and combining this technique with the traditional knowledge, since both plants kind of look together. If you looked at picture before, you see that pupunha palm tree look almost like a bamboo. We use the new technology on bioresins, mainly of castor oil plant that is being developed in Brazil, in São Paulo, to glue everything together and develop this new material. So we try to do like this very simple process. The idea is to do something which can be replicable, that you can take to the countryside, that can be done with low use of income, of investments and resources. And we developed this new material. It is called the pupunha plywood, and it has like this beautiful texture, quite unique, and it has great flexibility. It has the same properties as the original pupunha from the Indians, but at the same time adapted to the production needs that new products normally use. So we didn't want this to be seen as a commodity, as something like normally people look at it and say like, oh, that's great for flooring. It is great for flooring, it is great for covering, but we wanted to show people that it can do more since we have such great properties. So we needed a product, like a product that would bring countryside connected to urban environment, like would show the benefits of this work to both environments, that would bring wealth, empowerment, and preservation to the countryside, at the same time bringing education, bringing sustainability, bringing experience, and all these values. So we're thinking in what would be that product, what we would use as a communication vehicle, and we chose something that, it's in our lifestyle, something we like. So it's this video here would show.
skateboard is not produced only with pupunha, since it has its own, we don't call it ergonomics, but its own functions. It should be flexible but light and stable. So we have chosen pupunha as a finishing, since we want to promote the material and show people how it can be used and how resistant it was. But we have also used bamboo inside, and we have reinforced this with some natural fibers. Nowadays we use linen, but we have already used kurawa also. And now this project was made in an open developed platform. We put it on the internet, we call it EcoSkate, and everyone could give opinions and say what they're thinking about and actually see the process itself. And if you want, then you can reply this. It's not that easy, but you're free to do it. But actually, don't get us wrong. As we said before, we are not skateboard producers. The skateboard was only one of the products we have thought about that can communicate our ideas. With the pupunha plywood, we have developed some modern furnitures, actually using the technology we have improved with the skateboard, laminating and bending. Some people have already asked for samples because of the high density, so they use it for guitars and sounds itself. That furniture is actually just covered with pupunha, so people are really getting to use it, and this is great for us. There is a company in Brazil, and we have for the last 3 months 50 square meters sold that they could use in their own furnitures. And now people are beginning to looking at it not only as a nice flooring or covering material, and they can see actually different possibilities. But I don't know if you remember, we were talking about one kind of residue from pupunha. When you look at it, there is lots of other kinds, but we are going to focus on this other one right now, that since we are getting with the people from the farms of pupunha, we got to know that this is a pretty more common residue and pretty frequent. So every time they produce the palm heart, 7 times the weight they sell of palm heart itself are residues, and completely different residues. So we had to look at this in a different way, and looking for different processes in a way that we can develop new ways of income for this community. Actually, this is the result of my master's in material engineering, and this material is a composite, of course, natural fibers from the palm heart, and PU, polyurethane, vegetable-based resin. The result is 100% biodegradable. If you bury it, you have like 5 months of life, and it disappears. But I was comparing this with the famous OSB and MDF. Designers are probably familiar with that. And the property was like pretty similar. And the resistance to water and absorption, of course we are using polyurethane, so it was much better. And this is, it's thinking, of course, about how can we generate other ways of income around the same culture, so that people can actually live from the countryside and they don't need to come downtown so they can like find a new job or something. They are in the best place they can be, so let them keep there. We look actually for some traditional processes in inspiration, but the main thing is we don't want to be the producers. So we develop technology, and our intention is to pass it through so that people can actually do it and make the real change. Because if we kept the idea and technology to ourselves, then it's no point, because the technology is to be used, and that's what we think about it. So these are several other products. We have already developed some huge clients. Sometimes they want these eco-gift things. And it has been great to see that actually people are getting to know materials and ask for them, and we are here probably about them, so it's been great.
Well, but pupunha is just one of the species we have in Brazil. Brazil is a country which, well, exports commodities and agricultural products, but we have many other species in Brazil, and the idea is to use all the species and to pass this idea on so people can use this method so everybody has local fibers, local residues that they can use. As Bruno said, the idea is to develop technology, to develop the method, and to pass it on to local farmers, and so they can become local producers. And I mean, Bernardo will talk a bit about how we felt here.
This leads the last point of our presentation is that since Brazil has so many social and economical similarities with South Africa and all other developing countries as Mexico, India, China, Russia. Since we got here, we were thinking, what can we do about all those other fibers? How can we work together to develop new materials from the leftovers of all those agro-industry? So the main question is, how can you help us? I think that's it.